This world is so bad that we gotta make excuses for it. Every time when bad things happen, we gotta come up with some excuse. Blame the devil, blame the victims, or create some stories about existence. Like, yo, there's some entity that hacked the simulation, and that is why things are bad. God is good, but the world is bad because God is an enemy. And he's not getting rid of that enemy for some reason. Like, we like to make excuses for this realm, you know. The truth is that it's just bad. And everything tells us that the world is bad, you know. The fact that we didn't consent to being born, that's a red flag, you know. You don't you can't think that is not a red flag. Like, you find yourself existing in a world that you didn't ask to exist in, and a lot of things are happening, you know. It's not like you just exist and you have all the power to, you know, do what you want to do, you know. No, you find yourself as this limited being that has to rely on other beings for survival, that has to compete for survival. You didn't ask to be part of the game. That should make you a bit suspicious. Like, why are things the way that they are, you know? I'm playing a game that I didn't ask to play. I don't care how good the game is. You want to have asked to play the game. Like, that is imperative. You don't find yourself playing a game that you didn't ask to play, and you think that is good. You must have had a say. So to me, that's a red flag. We didn't ask for this. But there are a lot of things that are happening in this realm that make it bad whether we ask to be in it or not. You know? Like, it's not the fact that we didn't ask to be here is the biggest red flag, but there are other things that are bad. That is why I want to make excuses for this world. And we don't want to talk about these things that are bad in the world, you know. We don't want to be honest about how bad things are. And we don't want to come up with the right solutions, like solutions that will actually be effective. It seems to me that we don't care that much about solving the problems that we have. We just want it to look like we're trying. Like, we don't really care, but we just want it to seem like we do care. You know what I mean? It would be like if you were governed by people who didn't care about making like real change. So you're governed by these people and don't really care about making real change. Whenever you come up with real solutions, they're like, nah, like this will really change things. But when you come up with solutions that won't really work, but like, yeah, we want these solutions. That's how we are, you know. You're like, yo, this is the best solution that we have so far. You come up with the best solution. Like, look, this really is the best solution for the problems that we have. And the whole world be like, yeah, that's evil. That's this and that. In fact, it's not even evil. They just start to gaslight you. I've always wondered why we never try our hardest to solve the problems that we have. Because some of the problems that we have are too bad for anyone to have to deal with, you know. Like, some things shouldn't exist in this world. Like, there should never be war in this world, you know. The fact that we don't really care that much about countries that are uh, at all war with other countries. Like, we're not standing up together as humanity and be like, okay, that's nonsense. And a lot of people who are suffering as a result don't even want things to be the way that they are. Like, they wouldn't even start the war themselves. It's not like they wanted the war to happen. It's the people who are in power who are um, fighting, and it's innocent people who end up suffering because it's innocent people who end up dying. We shouldn't have war, but we don't come up with real solutions. How do we end that? We've ended up accepting a world that is not only flawed. Let me not even say it's flawed. It's the way that it was supposed to be. But we've ended up accepting a world that is evil. We're talking about a world that was meant to be evil. Not a world that was evil. that was evil because of a flaw. You know. It seems to me that humanity will never be able to make this world a good place. No matter no matter how we view the world, it's like there is something there's something about our programming that makes us want to keep things as they are. Like, we can never operate outside our programming, especially as a collective. Maybe as an individual you can. Maybe as an individual you can realize that, oh, this world is not what I thought, and that makes you want to come up with real solutions. But you can't change the whole world. You can't make the whole world see what is really wrong with the world. And I think we're different for a reason. Like, if we're all the same, it would mean that we'll be facing the same problems, and our objective would be to solve our problem. But we got different problems, different interests. There's value alignment problem. It's all by design. Rabbits live with lions. Lions want to eat rabbits. So lions and rabbits can never agree on how things should be, because the lions want to eat them and they don't want to be eaten. It's how it is in this world. There are some people who won't allow the real change that is going to make things better for everyone because they're selfish. Like, they want things to be the way they are for real because they are selfish, not because they have better ideas, because they're selfish. In South Africa, it's a well-known fact that it's much easier for people who are given tenders to be corrupt than it is for people who have jobs. If they give you a tender of, maybe let's say they give you 10 million and say, fix this road. But like, yeah, this for you to fix this road, you're gonna need this and that, and you decided, okay, I have to spend as less, like I have to spend less money as possible. So I'm not gonna buy everything that is needed, or I'm not going to buy quality things. I'm just gonna get these things from someone who sell them cheaper, and you don't produce what needs to be produced, and everyone ends up suffering. It's tenders, but they're not changing that. Like, people are still being given tenders. You'd be like, why are people still being given tenders? You think human beings are that integrous? Like, you can give me 10 mil and say build a road And I'll be like, yeah, I'll build a good road, but I mean, like people in general, they probably wouldn't. Like a lot of people care about themselves. A lot of people have things that they want. They're like, if I have this, I'm gonna be happy. So, if they feel like if they can buy a brand new BMW, they'll feel happy. Yeah, because they're competing with other people, or because they just love the car. If they find themselves in a situation where they can do that, they'll make it happen. It's human nature. We're not that integrous, so people can't be trusted with that much money. Somehow, that is allowed. You see, which is causing a lot of problems. So you can tell that the problems that we have in this realm as a collective um, are supposed to be there. You know, it's all by design. It's not a mistake. We don't have the problems that we have because of some mistake. We have the problems that we have because we were supposed to have them. And it really sucks that what I'm saying is true. But it tells you a lot about this reality. That somehow we we want to keep on telling ourselves that this world is good. It's only bad because there's a devil. It's only bad because there are evil people. You're like, yeah, they're here, bro. Why is it that there's always evil people? You know, like there's never not been evil people. So why is it like that? Why doesn't it happen that we find ourselves in a world where no one is evil, everyone is good, everyone have good intention, and you're like, wow, it's all good because everyone is good. But no, it's not like that. There will always be people who are evil, people who are willing to steal your peace. I just bought a car. I had to put a tracker. Why? Because there are people who are willing to steal our peace. And you might say, well, some of them are not bad, they're just desperate, and that is true. But really, there are people who are bad who make people who are desperate bad. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that there are some people who had real power to create a world that is fair, but they decided to be selfish and corrupt, and people who are at the bottom are being affected, and some of them resort to desperate measures. But that tells you something. You can't say this is good, you can't say this is beautiful. The more we lie to ourselves, the worse things are going to become. You know, the more we lie to ourselves, the more we say things are good even if things ain't good. There's the moment we make things worse. But if we're honest with ourselves, if we say that, nah, man, this is not right, this is not it, this is not good, and we're honest about that, I do believe we'll be able to make decisions that will uh, cause real change to happen. Like, people who end up changing in their lives and becoming good are people who have reached a point where they accepted the truth about themselves. Like, they reached a point where they were truly honest. Like, you know what, man? Look, I've been living a lie, the whole time. I've been lying to myself. And I can see that my behavior is not really helping anyone. And I'm also suffering because of my behavior. So I'm willing to change. I want things to be better. These are the people who actually change in life. But people who are in denial, if a person is like, yo, man, um, I'm a good person, even if they're doing things that are horrible, they never change. I remember there's this scene in South Park where Kyle said something that stuck with me. So Eric Ketman was dating Heidi Tanner. They had a very toxic relationship. Very toxic relationship. Um, so Kyle went to Heidi, kind of like had a crush on Heidi. He went to crush. He was like, yo, you're dating Eric. How is Eric doing? like as a boyfriend, because most of us were talking, and yeah, we don't we don't think your relationship is good, and she got mad because she was in denial. Like she didn't want to accept the truth, which is that Kedman was actually toxic towards her. But after she started to, accept that instead of being in denial, Carl said something very important. He was like, people like Eric, or she said, I keep on thinking that Eric is going to change. And then Carl was like, people like Eric never change, because they see themselves as victims all the time, right? They they never see anything wrong with what they are doing. They only see the wrongs that other people are doing. That's how it is. If you always make yourself the victim, you can justify being awful. So people don't see their own flaws, they see other people's flaws. So if you don't see your own flaws, how do you change? If you're blaming everyone else, how do you change? How do you become a better human if everyone is to blame except you? If there is something that you are doing that is wrong. So if we don't blame the world, if we don't stand together as a society and be like, "Ah, this is just not it," you know what I'm saying? Like, something about this place is wrong. How are we going to change it? There shouldn't be inequality. There shouldn't be poverty in this realm. Like, that shouldn't exist. There should be balance. We should be working together as a collective to make things better. People must be willing to help one another. There shouldn't be people who are getting murdered in the street. It's not safe. You can't walk at night freely. That's wrong. It's not safe. You can't leave your phone here for 30 minutes. When you come back here, it's gone. The person who stole it is the person who believes in God, who goes to church every day, or who believes in Jesus. And when you debate with these people, they'll be like, nah, Jesus exists and he loves us all and he's good. And you're like, why did you steal my phone? God forgives for our mistakes. It's not a mistake. There's something in you that is not good. You have to work on it. So there needs to be real awareness. Like, you need to be aware of who you are as a person, what you are as a person, what you're capable of as a person. This thing of blaming the devil all the time, like, it's the devil is evil, the devil, it's not the devil. The devil, you never met the devil, you never seen the devil, you've never communicated with the devil. It's us who doing horrible things to one another. You can't tell me that a lion is killing a rabbit because of the devil. It has nothing to do with the devil. And you cannot tell me that is beautiful. It's not beautiful. You can call it the cycle of life. You can say that's how things are, but it could have been designed differently. It could have worked differently. Why are things the way that they are specifically? Why is the world created in such a way that suffering will actually be inevitable, and um, there will be willingness from uh, every living being to cause harm? You know, rabbits also cause harm. Chickens also cause harm. You know what I'm saying? You look at a chicken and you're like, it's innocent. It also does cause. They eat worms. They don't care. It's like every it's like every animal here that has power, some form of power, it uses it, even if the power that it has is causing suffering. Right? Humans treat animals the way that they want to treat them. They're not thinking, hey man, these animals also deserve the kind of freedom, the kind of protection that we have. Like, they don't think, we don't think that. We don't even, like, it doesn't even matter to us. We use our power to benefit what we want to benefit. So can we honestly say this is good? Can we honestly say this is making sense? Can we honestly say this is beautiful? The real problem is intellectual dishonesty. Human beings fail to be honest. We're not honest about ourselves. We're not honest about the world. We're gonna blame aliens. We're gonna blame icons while we're doing the same things that we're blaming them for doing. But yeah, they want our energy because they're evil and they're jealous of us. Yeah, but why do you eat chickens? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you want energy. It's a different kind of energy. You feel hungry and you're like, let me eat a chicken, and now you feel powerful. You feel energetic. So you're also getting energy from the chicken. So what is it that these icons are doing that you're not doing that makes you better, that makes you pure, that really makes you a victim, right? You hear what I'm saying? It's the refusal to acknowledge that the world that we've found ourselves in is just evil, that is making things much harder. If we were honest with ourselves enough about this place, things will be much better because there will be willingness to cause real change to happen. You'll be like, yeah, things are bad, bro. Like, things gotta change. Like, things can't remain like this. This is nonsense. This is not beautiful. This is not this is not lovable, right? But if you keep on telling yourself that this world is good and all of that, even if you can see the evil things that are happening, for this world to be good, it has to be good. Do you get what I'm saying? Let me give you a simple example because people don't realize how intellectually dishonest they are. You think of a pastor, and I think I've seen this happen too many damn times, right? It's like a pastor of a church seem good. I mean, it's not every pastor that's like very selfish. Some who are like, yo, when I want to be super rich and I don't want to help. Like, no, some pastors are not selfish, right? Some pastors are not selfish. Some pastors want to help. So you find that they're helping in so many different ways, but they are also committing adultery. Once people discover that, oh, that person is bad, you know what I'm saying? Why? One small thing can change your whole perspective about someone. It doesn't really matter how good they are. We live in a world that is full of negative things, but we want to say it's good. Like, a lot of things that we see happening are negative. Yes, there are good things. The food tastes nice, but what has to happen for for the food to be ready? A lot has to happen. But because we're intellectually dishonest, we won't say, no, but that's, like, that's bad. People are biased and don't even realize their own. They don't even, recognize when they're being biased. Like, they don't see their own biases. They think they are fair. They are, like, acting in a way that is rational all the time. They don't realize that they're biased. I remember there's a video that I saw. So there was this guy who, he was in the street, dressed like a regular person. He fell down, and people watched him fall, but no one, helped. Right, so he was on the floor, and no one is helping, and he's just remained on the floor. And then, like, it took like maybe 15 minutes for someone to actually try to help. But a man wearing a suit fell. After they fell, everyone wanted to help right away. They were surrounded by more than 10 people in 5 minutes. So everyone is willing to help because the person is wearing a suit. These are the kind of biases that people don't see, you know. So they look at other people and they think they're treating everyone fairly. Like, yeah, I'm fair to everyone. It's not like that. You have a lot of biases that you don't see, and that is what is making it difficult for you to realize what is really going on in this realm. I'm gonna have to pause this video because of the music in the background. I hope YouTube doesn't pick it up. There was a lot of noise where I was, so I was like, nah, it's fine. I'm gonna finish recording when I get home. Some people ask me, why do I want my videos to be long? I think the things that I talk about on my videos are too damn complicated to be explained in 10 minutes, to be explained in 15 minutes. I want to give different examples. And that's what I do. Like when I'm trying to understand something, I try to look at it from different angles to see what is more true. Because the ego can easily deceive itself. In fact, the ego will believe anything as long as it helps it survive. You know what I'm saying? As long as it makes it easy for it. Like the ego doesn't want things that it doesn't want to believe things that are gonna like complicate its life, or that's gonna take it out of its comfort zone, or that's gonna make it judge itself and all that. Like it doesn't like that. Plus I enjoy watching long videos, so I assume that my audience also love watching long videos. But yeah, man, we need to truly understand ourselves to be able to understand the world that we found ourselves in. We need to see the evil that's within all of us. It's very easy to convince yourself that you're a saint. You look at other people and you're like, compared to other people, I'm actually good. The ego is very good at deceiving itself. What you must notice is that when another person does something that you consider to be wrong, it's rare for you to make excuses for them, especially if they do something that affects you in a negative way. So you just tell yourself that they're evil, they're bad, they're selfish. But if you do the same thing, you're gonna have excuses. You'll be like, "Yeah, I did it because I was desperate. I did it because I was not feeling well. I was in a bad state of mind." You're gonna make excuses for yourself. The ego is very good at making excuses for itself, but it doesn't make excuses for others. You see? So you mustn't fall under the same trap when you're defending or when you're analyzing the world itself. You know what I'm saying? Like you mustn't be like, it's good even if you there are a lot of things about it that are bad. This is not like, it shouldn't be about defending this world. It should be about seeing this world for what it is and figuring out how you can make it better, or how it can be made better. That's what will get us closer to making the world better. But people they don't want to confront the truth that it isn't good. And if we don't evolve as conscious beings, it's never going to be better. It will only be those who are in power who will be telling us how to live. Like we'll never be the ones who are making decisions for ourselves. We'll just be electing people. They get into power and they tell us how they want us to live life. They tell us what is right and what is wrong. We're not the ones who are going to decide what is right and what is wrong. It's going to be those who are in power. What is real, what is not real, what is good, what is bad, how to live. There are a lot of things that are wrong with the world uh, that need to change for us to say, this world is actually good. Like, we must be honest with ourselves about how things are now. We must be honest that no, now the world isn't good, but hopefully there can be things that can be done to make it better. If there are people who are able to still 2 billion that's supposed to help patients in a hospital, and they get away they get away with it for a long time, it means there's something wrong with the world. It means there's something wrong with us as people. You know, there was something that I was thinking about today, and I know a lot of people will not agree with me on this, but I think you are as good as a person can be, and you're as evil as a person can be. It just depends on your experiences and your beliefs, how you were programmed. So what am I saying? I'm saying that any person that you can think of that has been like who that has done the most horrible things, you could have been that person. Meaning that if a person is capable of doing evil, you must understand that all of us are capable of doing something evil. It's not like we're evolving and that is why we're not doing something evil. It's to be evil. It doesn't, like, it's not something that you plan. It's just, I remember Kevin Hart when he said, you can never plan crazy. When he gave an example with Will Smith, like he didn't plan what he did to Chris Rock. It's kind of like that. Like, you never really plan it. Like, your life can change and you start viewing the world differently, and it's all downhill from there, and you end up, being the person that you hate now, or the person that you never thought you would be. It has to do with our experiences. You know, a lot of people don't see how society programs them. Like, they want to take credit for who they are today without realizing that they were programmed by society. You were given a name, and the name that you were given, your parents probably didn't even make that name up. It's a name that they had someone calling the child, and they're like, oh, that's a good name. You know, so it starts there, and you get program to a point where it, it it's kind of like impossible for you, not really impossible, but kind of like impossible for you to think original thoughts, to think for yourself. And it should be easy to see what I'm talking about when you think about how people end up believing in their religions. Like, how many people believe in a religion that people that they grow up with and people who raise them don't believe in it. A person will tell you they believe in a particular religion, and when you trace how they actually ended up believing in the religion, you realize that they ended up believing in a religion simply because their parents believe in the religion. The people that they live with believe in the religion. Remember, the ego wants to survive, so to believe what other people believe. If these people are surviving, it doesn't want to be singled out. It doesn't want to be judged. It doesn't want to be the odd one out. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't want that. It wants to fit in. It wants to have its survival need met. I mean, it wants its survival needs to be met. That's what matters to it. So if it needs to deceive itself to have its survival need met, it will deceive itself. So if you don't see the truth about yourself, how are you going to see the truth about the world? I remember telling you all that for the world to reveal itself to you, you need to reveal yourself to the world. When you are real, the world is going to automatically be real. It's like this, man. Let's just say, okay, let me give you this simple example. Let's say you want someone to be your girlfriend as a guy. So it is this girl that you're texting, and you want her to be your girlfriend, right? You want her to be your girlfriend. but you're not straightforward. Okay, like you're not honest. You just flirting there. She probably gonna flirt back even if she doesn't like you. She probably entertain it just for fun. But if you truly reveal yourself, your intention, you know, she's gonna reveal herself to you. Like she's gonna make it known whether she really likes you like that or if she doesn't. Because now you are actually revealing yourself. So when you reveal yourself, the world reveals itself to you. You know, if you lie, the world lies to you. So it's really up to you. Are you going to be real and allow the world to reveal itself to you? Or are you going to be fake and allow the world to lie to you? Those who are real with it, like those who are real are not afraid to be real, they can say that the world is not what we say it is. You know, even if it's taboo to say, you know, it's bad, but they're like, you know what, let me just speak the truth, man, because there's no beauty in lying. You know, there's a reason why there've been a lot of things that we ain't able to realize were wrong in the past. We lie to ourselves. So you would see that, oh, the way that this person is being treated is wrong, but you don't say anything. It's like slavery. One of my favorite movies is The Book of Clarence. I like when he decided to try and do something good and decided to free some slaves because he had money, you know, so he bought their freedom. He was like, what, how should another man own, how a man can own another man, you know, how a human can own another human. You know, we're placing such a small value on humans, on some people, something like that. But you could see the honesty, you know, it's like nobody's saying that. So it sounds weird, but it's true, you know. So you gotta be like that. You have to be willing to confront truth than to play along with the lie, because that's kind of what a lot of people who are great thinkers do. You might be a great thinker, but you continue to play along, you know. You can see that no, this is nonsense. The way that people are being treated, total nonsense. But you're like, let me play along, you know, out of fear. You're like, I have a lot to lose if I don't play along. Imagine what kind of things I'm going to lose. So you play along. Like that's not beautiful. You know, there needs to be intellectual honesty. It's what's gonna lead to freedom in the end. You know, a human being must decide that, you know what, I want to be as honest as possible with myself, about myself and about the world that I'm in, about other people. What do I see when I look outside? When I think about my past experiences, what do I think? When I think about other people's experiences, what do I think? Like, you know, what is my conclusion? You go to a funeral and you realize that the person that died a horrible death. Like they died a death that will make you question the existence of God. You hear that they got shot by someone, and that person was trying to rob them, and that person was never caught. And you're like, and then when they're preaching, they say, "Oh, God is good all the time. God is good." Right? That's what people are doing. You know, about the world itself. Like crazy things will happen, but the world will be like, the world is good. I mean, people will be like, the world is good all the time. The world is good. Like that's how we behave. That's how we respond to some of the most horrible experience that we have. Instead of uh, questioning what is really going on, or if we are too invested in what's going on, you know, why don't we stand together as a collective and be like, we're not gonna do certain things until things get better here. You know, because nobody goes on strike because life is bad. They go on strike because of like some, you know, someone doing something bad, or some not being paid enough, stuff like that. But they don't try to confront reality itself. Be like, yo, what is this? So if you are that attached to it, you be like you do that. But the real truth is, it's very obvious that something is not right. We're just not responding accordingly because we don't want to be singled out or to be called names, to be called crazy, to be judged, because our egos do not want that. So we play along no matter what we see, but it's not beautiful. It's not like it's not a beautiful story, you know. Imagine yourself in the afterlife, you know, and you thinking about how you lived your life here. You probably won't be proud if you were lying to yourself, if you were living in fear, if you were doing things just to survive, you know. But isn't that what most of us are doing? Doing things just for survival. And it's hard to blame anyone, really. I'd say the real problem is that we found ourselves feeling the way that we do, desiring the things that we desire. And once you start existing, you start having all these desires, you know. So you have to choose now between survival, having your desires met, and all of that, or being real. Right? You were born into a fake world where you had to decide whether to be real, but not get the things, most of the things that you want, or be fake and get a lot of things. I mean, not you don't always get what you want, even if you're fake, but you increase your chances, I guess, because now you have to wear a mask, right? So when you wear this mask and you go out into society, and when they say behave this way, you behave the way that society wants you to behave. You know, chances are you're gonna be rewarded for that. Than if you play real, you know. And if you say, you know what, this is where I am, this is how I feel, you might not like it. Like you risk a lot by being real. Like you have to, once you're given a certain character, you have to try your best to be in character. You remain in character. If you don't remain in character, chances are you're gonna lose something that you value. So it sucks that we don't want to acknowledge the evil within us, which makes it hard for us to see the evil in the world. Like if you don't see the devil within, how are you going to see the devil in the world? I mean, you're programmed to think the world is good. Like you're not programmed to charge the world. Maybe you can see the devil in other people, but the world itself, you won't really see the devil in it. You can't see the devil in yourself. If you see the devil in yourself, then it becomes much easier for you to see the devil in the world. Like you'll be able to understand why people do the things that they do. You even get to a point where you don't even judge anyone. You're like, I mean, is it your fault that you're conscious here and having all these desires and being limited the way that you are? Because we're not operating at the same level of consciousness. Some people are operating at a very low level of consciousness, you know. They ain't aware of a lot of things. Some people, their brains are not working the way that we, like normal brains work, you know. Are to them limited. Maybe they don't have empathy. They are not able to, like, it doesn't register to them that another person's suffering might be real, you know. You know the same. So even if I take credit for, if I'm a good person, even if I took credit for that, it wouldn't really mean that I'm really a good person. It would just mean that I was lucky enough to find myself in situations that made people perceive me as a good person. You know, sometimes that's really the only way to look at it than uh, to take credit for being what is considered good in the world. So if we were intellectually honest as a collective, I'm telling you, man, it'll be very easy for us to identify evil. Like we wouldn't even need to try. We'll be able to recognize, be like, okay, this is evil. Wow, this is good. This is nice. Like we wouldn't struggle to determine what is good and what is evil. Because now we struggle. You know how hard it is for humans to actually decide what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. Like we have these debates. Find people debating about what is good and what is bad. It's something that is very common in this realm, right? The reason is simple. We're not the same. We're not operating at the same level of consciousness. We're not all intellectually honest. We're not all fortunate. It's a very unfair game. Thank you all guys for watching this video until the end. Tell me what you think about the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let us keep on growing. Thank you.